Okay, so the final drawing that we have today, the final exercise, we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to click on a new tab or a new drawing, and we have to make sure that the units are set to imperial units. So we're going to type units on our keyboard, click enter, make sure that the architectural type is selected. Precision is 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch. Insertion scale is in inches, and we're going to click OK. Right. So this is a drawing that we want to create, and we're also going to be using some of the tools that we learned in drawing 2. So the first thing that I will do actually is to create half quarter of this drawing, because we're going to mirror the other sides accordingly, or we're going to mirror those on the right side and on the bottom. So to do that, we have a box here that is 5 feet by 5 feet. I'm going to click on the rectangle command, and I'm going to click here, and I'm going to drag, and I'm going to type 5 feet and tab on my keyboard, and 5 feet and enter. All right. So that's the smallest part in here. And I can move it actually using the move command to be within the range that we see here. So I'm just going to click on the move command, and I'm going to click on move, enter, and then I'm going to click here and drag upward if I want to. So I'm going to click and drag upward in here. And then I'm going to click again to place it in position. So that's the first part. Now we need to chamfer this with 1 foot on the x-axis and 1 foot on the y-axis. And to do that, we're going to use the chamfer tool. So we're going to click on chamfer, and again, I'm going to just use the move the command line so you can see what we're going to be selecting after we clicked on the chamfer tool. The first thing is it's asking us to select the first line, but before selecting the line, I need to make sure that I enter the numerical distance for the X and Y. So I'm just going to click on distance, and this time I'm going to type 1 feet, enter. And the second chamfer distance is 1 feet and enter. And after that, I'm going to hover over and select the lines. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to click here, and I'm done with my chamfer tool. The second thing that I need to do is that I will need to offset to the inside, as we can see here, another copy of the chamfered box to the inside with a distance of 6 inches. So I'm going to click on the offset tool in the modify panel, which is here. So I'm going to click here. And the very first thing that's asking me is about the distance that you want to offset this copy or a copy of this to. So in our case, it's 6 inches. So I'm going to type 6 inches and enter. And I'm going to select the object that I want to offset. And then I'm going to click and select the direction. If I hover to inward, this means that this is going to be into the inside of the chamfered box, or if I hovered outside, it's going to be outside of this. Upward is outside. So I'm just going to hover inside because this is what I need. And then I'm going to click to finalize the offset tool. Now, since we created this, I need to start mirroring those copies of this on opposite sides. So I'm going to click escape to get out of the offset tool, and then I'm going to click on the mirror command. Now the mirror command is going to be to enable me to mirror those on the right side and mirror the 2 of those on the bottom side. So I'm going to click on mirror command, and I'm going to select my object. Now to select the whole object, all we have to do is just we're going to click, and then we're going to do something like bubble or a cloud around the shape. And once I'm done selecting, I'm just going to release my finger from the left side, the left mouse button. And after everything is selected, I'm going to click enter on my keyboard. Now, after that, I'm going to select the first mirror line, and the first mirror line is here. So I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to move my cursor upward, and then I'm going to click here to finalize it. Now it's asking me, do you want to erase the source objects? No, because I wanted an exact copy on the opposite side. And once I do that, I already have 2 copies, another copy on the right side. Now, the next thing is I need to select those 2, and I need to mirror them on in the bottom section. So I'm going to click on mirror again. I'm going to select those two this time. I'm going to click enter on my keyboard. And after that, I'm going to click here to select my first mirror line. And then I'm going to click here to select my second point for the mirror line. Do you want to erase source objects? No, because I want the source objects to be in their position. I'm going to click no, and I'm done with the first outline of the object. Now, the other thing that we can do to finalize this is that we can see that this is a whole circle. One of them is set at, the inside one is set at a radius of 3 feet. So I'm just going to click here. I'm going to click on center and radius. And then I'm going to select this point here to be my center point for the circle. I'm going to click and then I'm going to drag and I'm going to type 3 feet for the radius. And I'm going to click enter. So I'm done with the first circle. The second circle, it's offsetted actually 6 inches to the outside. And I'm taking a look at the drawing right now. And yes, I probably have missed that, but we can see that if I put the dimension here with the radius. So I'm just going to go here. I know that, or the linear aligned, I know that this is 6 inches. Yeah. So here, I'm offsetting this to the outside 6 inches. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to click on offset. Okay. I know that the value here, or the offset distance, should be 6 inches. So I'm going to type 6 inches and enter. And then I'm going to click on this. And I'm going to click outside because I need to offset this to the outside 6 inches. All right. So once I'm done here, and I can definitely measure my distance from here, and probably going to click here, and the end point or the intersection point is going to be helpful. So I need to see between here and here, this is exactly 6 inches. And now, since those two circles are where I want them to be, the final thing that I need to do is a little bit of trimming, because as you can see, we don't have those parts here. So I'm going to click on the trim command, which is up here. I'm going to click on trim, and I'm going to start some cleaning. So I don't need those parts basically here, and same thing on here. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on this one, and the exact same thing here. So we're done with cleaning those parts. Click escape on your keyboard to end the operation. Final thing is we need to add those diagonal lines. So I'm going to click on line command. I'm going to click hover over this point, and then I'm going to make sure that this is, now we can do this either way. If that object snap point is not really what you're thinking of, maybe I want to right click here on the object snap, and I need to turn, I'm going to leave intersection off and perpendicular off for now. And I'm just going to select endpoint and midpoint. And then I'm going to go back again, clicking here. And then I'm going to go back again and make sure that this is snapping to the midpoint. Right click and enter to end the command. The second thing we want to do is that we want to offset this to the inside, to this side and to this side into the opposite directions, 6 inches. So one of the things I can do, I can click on the offset tool. If 6 inches is still the value that I want, I can click enter on my keyboard to accept that value. So I'm just going to click here, and then I'm going to select this line, and I'm going to go on this side. I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to click on the line again, and then I'm going to click to this side 6 inches again. So this is basically, you're just clicking to and directing the cursor to one side, and then directing the cursor to the other side and clicking. Now, I don't want the offset command anymore, so I'm going to click escape on my keyboard, and there is a little bit of trimming that I need to do, as we can see. So I need to trim. I'm going to click on trim tool, and I'm going to start cutting those excess parts. All right. And I think I don't need those as well, which are coinciding with the circumference of the circle. And I'm going to right click and enter. Now, the only thing that is missing right now is that I need to start mirroring all of those objects, okay, on their proper position into the opposite sides. And to do that, I'm going to click on mirror here. I'm going to select those. Select those lines as well. Click enter on your keyboard and then click here and then move my cursor. Now, if I move my cursor, so I clicked here on the middle, and then I'm going to go up and click again. And do I want to erase those objects? Of course not. And then I have those set for me. Now we need to do exact same thing. We're going to mirror those lines on the opposite side. So I'm going to click on mirror again, and I'm going to click and drag to select those, click and drag to select those, do the exact same thing in here. And another time, click enter on your keyboard, and then I'm going to click, and then I'm going to drag to that side, and then I'm going to click again. Do I want to erase those objects? Of course not. And then I have the shape set for me. Again, you can click on measure distance, and then you can start clicking and comparing the result. Here it's 4 feet because we already have the chamfer. The chamfer is accounted for 1 foot, so it's 5 feet with the chamfer. So the this is a drawing, so you should be having this drawing, the first drawing that we finished, drawing 2 and drawing 3, and then you can go to save them if you want to. So you can click here and then you can save as, and then the first one, I'm just gonna click on cancel because I want to save the first one. The first one I should save as a separate file. So I'm gonna click on save as drawing, and you can basically save this as drawing 1.1 and gonna click on save and do that for each one of them. So if I clicked drawing 1.1 and click save, this is going to be reflected here on the tab or in the name. Drawing 2, I'm going to do exact same thing, click on the A tab and then save as drawing, and this is going to be drawing 1.2. Okay, and click on save. Again, that's reflected up here. Drawing 3, click here and save as 1.3. And click on save, and there we go.